Hey, so I tried to make this video last night, but I had, first of all, just started, or just taken my Klonopin and Trazodone, so I was out. And I also have been having this crazy anxiety. I mean, heart pumping, lungs swelling, someone standing on your chest, anxiety that has gotten me to literally think that I was dying. Like I couldn't breathe. And this happens at nighttime. So I was getting some of that too, and I just sounded really ridiculous, like I was yawning and trying to breathe at the same time, and it just wasn't working out. So, sorry I didn't blog yesterday. I mentioned in my last post that last week was a terrible week. And I went to see my psychiatrist, and one of the things that I had been writing about in my daily journal that I'm supposed to keep is that I was having this overwhelming anxiety. It was scaring me. So she didn't act as concerned about it as I would have hoped, and all she really did was tell me to up my dose of Lexapro, which, if you don't know, is an antidepressant. So I was taking 10 milligrams, and now I'm taking 20. And I can't really say that the anxiety has subsided. It might be a little bit better, but the weird thing about it is that I can't exactly judge, because I'm going to share my small, which is actually a big victory, early, and tell you that I have not had an episode for the past 3 days. And it's about 11 o'clock on the 4th day, so hopefully we'll keep this going. So it's really hard for me to judge if, I've been better or worse. And I know you're probably like, obviously you're better. And sure, I could sit here and be super optimistic and say, I'm getting better, like I'm never going to have an episode ever again, thanks to like all this antidepressant. But to have a reality check, you and I both know that that's not the truth. This, whatever it is, I don't know if it's mania. I don't know if it is just a nice mood swing or if it's just luck. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I am just not tolerant to this dose of medication yet, and it's going to come to a crash here. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive, but there's also reality. And I know that this will come to an end. So, while I have been manic or whatever, what happened to be the weekend, I've had a lot of time to look back on last week and how terrible it was, and to see the difference between right now and then. And one of the biggest differences is the anxiety. And that's going to sound weird because I said I don't really feel like much better, but the anxiety to me, and I didn't realize what this was at the time. Now I'm able to see it for what it is. It felt like a lurking presence. I don't know if you've heard the term like the elephant in the room. Well, for me, that's what my anxiety like always was. Always is. It's just that thing that's kind of right here. And it's not always like trying to get to you, but you know it's there. And I don't know what your thing is. If you have a mental illness, and maybe even if you don't, you have something like this. And I don't know if it's anxiety for you, depression, hallucinations, delusions, phobia. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Anything. But I figured out what mine was. Which sounds dumb, because obviously I knew I was experiencing anxiety and panic. But that's hard to separate from the fact that obviously I have bipolar disorder, and a huge part of a bipolar mood swing is the depression, like at the bottom. And then there's mood swings in borderline also, which kind of range from depression to like abandonment issues. Like it's a whole scope of things. So it was really hard to figure out what this like lurking feeling was. And I guess I always felt like, especially last week, when I was literally having like up to 10 episodes in a day, and they would range from super manic to super depressive. They would be ridiculously and like super close together. It was very, very stressful. And it just felt like the calm between the storms. I had that like minute to recoup. And I realized when I would wake up in the morning, I would feel like someone sitting in a hospital being told that they have 24 hours left to live. They have one day to live. And I always would think, how would you enjoy your last 24 hours knowing that there's literally impending doom at the end? How could you possibly get everything you want to get done in that time? And then I'm thinking maybe they're lucky because they actually know how much time they have. They can look at the clock, they can keep up with it, they can time themselves. Obviously, I'm not dying, but I also have no idea how much time is going to be between when I have an episode and the next. How bad they're going to be, how debilitating they're going to be. I can't predict any of that, and that's super frustrating. So, for these past 3 days, I've just been thinking a lot. Because I can sit here and think, like, oh, the next time I'm going to do this, sorry. Or I'm going to feel like this, or I'm going to, any of that. But I'll tell you, in the moment when you have an episode, all logic fails you. But I was thinking that maybe if you understand what causes the episode, and I don't mean like, oh, you got in a car accident, blah, 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 then you have an episode. Because most of the time, at least for me, I have episodes about the dumbest things. Or literally no reason whatsoever. So there has to be like an ulterior motive. And I'm starting to think that that's my anxiety. Or whatever your thing is. So if you get down below that and figure out what's causing the anxiety and what triggers the anxiety, I know for a fact that when people leave me, or I at least feel like people are leaving me, and that could be anything from they go hang out with somebody else, they don't text me back right away, they don't meet my expectation of communication in some way. That's abandonment. And abandonment is about anxiety and paranoia. That's just one thing. It happens with school. It happens with my dog. It happens with everything. My clothes. So if I figure out what's behind that anxiety, what causes that anxiety, and what triggers that anxiety, it's like I have a heads up already. To me, I kind of compared this to a football game. Say your team figured out all the plays of the other team. Well, you would have a really good advantage to win, I hope, against this team, because you could literally set up your defense to completely demolish their offense, and vice versa. So if you kind of understand the plays of your brain, you kind of have an upper hand. And so like when I would start to feel a little weird this weekend, because whenever I hang out with my boyfriend, I always get super, super anxious that I'm going to have an episode, because it's happened before that we've hung out, had a great day, and then I would have an episode, which sucks. And I've hung out with him twice within this 3-day span. And I would just think, you're just getting anxious about nothing. You're just getting anxious. There's no reason to be anxious. You got your hair dyed, you have your nails done, you have parents who love you, boyfriend who loves you, best friends who love you. You're in school, you're taking 17 credit hours, you have work to get done, you have stuff to do. There's no time to be anxious. And then I would move on. I would distract myself. Today I'm home alone, so I'm going to have to focus on this pile of books work on that to distract myself. Does it suck to have to distract yourself to be able to live a life? Indeed. Does it suck to feel like you have something lurking all the time that is trying to attack you? Indeed. Does it suck that there's a pile of medication back there that I have to take right now? Indeed. It sucks to sit in front of a camera and admit that my brain is out to get me. Does it suck that I have to go to the library later because I have on hold a bunch of books about bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder so I can somehow understand myself? Indeed. But what are you going to do? What am I supposed to do? Am I going to sit here and just let it control my life? Am I going to sit here and complain about it? No, I'm telling you the facts. This is how I feel. This is what's going on today. But am I going to finish that stack of books because I have school tomorrow? Yes. Am I going to post this blog in hopes that somebody out there feels the same way that I do, and maybe you feel comforted in knowing that it's okay that you have an elephant sitting on your shoulder too? Indeed. Understanding that I have an elephant made me completely sure that I am not my bipolar disorder. I am not my borderline personality disorder. They are part of me. They're something I have to live with because they're lurking there. But if I start to figure them out, it's something that I can also ignore. Some people have really ugly birthmarks. It's not who they are. They didn't choose to have an ugly birthmark. But they know about it and they can deal with it. They can live with it. Obviously, a mental illness is a little bit more severe than a birthmark, I would say. But, just a metaphor. What is your elephant? What is lurking that always has you nervous? What are you struggling with? Tell me about it. You got the email, you got my comment box. I'll get it immediately. And I would love to know. Because I just feel like there's always something in the back of your mind that is pushing these negative thoughts. And I get it. I hope that you can figure out what that is. And I hope that you can figure out the plays that that thing is trying to have in your life. It may not help you get rid of it. You may never get rid of it. I'll always be bipolar. I may always have borderline. The point of getting healthy is learning how to deal. Learning how to live with it without falling apart like last week. I did. So I hope that you can assess your own life, assess your own issues that you're having, and you can feel victorious in knowing that you figured out a piece of what's going on inside your head. I know I feel good about it. That's all I have. And like I showed you, I have this huge stack of books that I have to attend to. So I'm going to get off here. And I hope you like this video. And I would love to hear from you. So comment away, email away. Look forward to it.